You hear a lot of people talking about trigger and trigger warnings and stuff like that, but what are triggers actually? Today we're going to talk about that. Aloha, my beautiful soul. If this is your very first time here, welcome to another episode of Unraveling, the Witchy podcast for witchy and highly sensitive ADHDers and other neurospicy people interested in anything that has to do with energies. Right now I'm going through a series. I'm calling them the energy waves. Last time we did wave 11, and this week we're talking about the wave 12, number 12, which is talking about triggers, because what are triggers? And one of my favorite things about them, in spite of them being something sometimes very nasty. So let's dive right in. What are triggers? For me, anything that triggers me, whenever I talk about those kind of things, whenever I use those kind of terms, is because I'm actually talking about something that bothers me in some form or way. Meaning it either makes me cry, it either gets me angry, or it's something that makes me be sad. I'm going to take those three emotions as like the main three emotions that we have, and anything that comes, that gets figured in there. Basically, whatever stirs my energetic pot, right? So usually if we're talking about happy triggers, like something that makes me laugh, something that is funny, that makes me happy, those are beautiful ones, and we're never going to talk about them because we just want those. Those are amazing, and we want to keep more of those, right? But what are the ones that actually make me feel weird, that make me feel sad and angry? Those are basically what we call triggers. And why I find this very important for us as highly sensitive and or neurospicy people, because the thing that we need to understand, and I think we've spoken about it in the past waves before, is that, the world is what we think, what we feel, our whole energy system. And if there is something that is being triggered within me, then that's something that I should look at, because when I look at it, I can change it, I can transform it, I can make something else out of it, so that next time I won't have that trigger anymore. It won't bother me anymore, right? Sometimes these are things that need to be, forgiveness or something like that. And sometimes it's about letting go. Sometimes it's about having, compassion with myself. There are so many different forms of getting into that, and that's way deeper, that we're going to talk about it in another episode. But for right now, for today, I just want you to get this awareness of what is triggering you, and not see those triggers as, oh my God, I was triggered in a very bad way and I reacted so badly and all of this. Give yourself grace. We're humans, right? And we are here. And triggers exist because at some point in your life, there was a situation that you felt like you needed to do something for your own survival. And so you had, that something, because it's different for all of us, that something was, saved in your body somewhere, in your subconscious somewhere, right? That's why I always say the subconscious is is the owner of our body. So it's somewhere inside of our muscle system in our body, and it's there, right? And then when the trigger happens, that thing comes up and it wants to help us. It wants to help us survive, even though, and that's the thing, it doesn't understand that now we're grown-ups and now we're in different situations and now it might be different. All right. So the very first thing, please give yourself grace when you notice there's something triggering, right? There's something stirring my energetic pot. The thing that you can do then, first of all, right? Give yourself grace. It's okay. We're all humans and we're going through these things. So it's okay for us to understand, okay, I go through this. Now I notice it's a trigger. So instead of being angry with yourself because you let yourself being triggered, and instead of seeing this as a burden, or instead of actually blaming someone else for their, because they triggered you, instead of doing all of this, take a step back, write down what triggered you, why it triggered you. And then you can ask yourself these two questions. Once you have the thing like, this bothered me because, right? You ask yourself, this bothered me because that person did something and you felt this or that way. Ask yourself how you felt. We're not going on that they pushed their anger or they pushed their sadness onto you. No, you take the situation and ask yourself, what did it bring up within myself? What energy did it bring up? That's the trigger, because it brought something up within you. All right. And once you have that energy, you ask yourself, is this triggering me because I am the same way with other people? Because if you look at yourself sometimes, what angers you most about others is because there's something inside of you that's also the same. Or, and I have to say, I don't want to say 80%, I would say 75% of the times, it's this second question. Am I this way with myself? All right. I think I've already taken the example of someone not feeling like everybody's feeling me for granted, like they're not appreciating my work and everything that I do, right? So again, someone asks me for help and then I don't even get a thank you. So what triggered there? Something triggered me that I felt like that I'm not being seen, right? So sometimes it's because we roll over other people like that. That's why I'm saying 2 questions. The first one, am I like that with other people? Do I roll over them like that? Or second question, am I like this with myself? And that's why I'm saying 75%. I mean that, I have to say for myself, most of the time it was more 85 to 90%. It's the second question that it's not necessarily that I am like that with other people, but I am like that with myself. And that's the 100% honesty that we need in this work. Because if I'm not 100% honest with myself, that, I might be the one that whenever I have my own needs, instead of allowing myself to actually say, no, I can't do this, I can't help you, I ignore myself. I don't, I take myself for granted and say, no, I'm going to have the strength and the power to help everybody else and to be there for everybody else. But I'm going to ignore that right now I'm actually exhausted and I just want to have a day for myself. Right? So I'm not setting the boundaries. I'm not giving myself the worth. I'm not showing appreciation for myself. Maybe you haven't done a spa day for yourself in a long time, right? So that's the trigger that is showing you within yourself that you are not, that you are not giving yourself the value, that you're not appreciating yourself. And this is just an example, and you can use this for any kinds of triggers. And why I'm sharing this with you is because I hope that from today's wave, you take this away that, wow, I can actually look at my triggers. And this is one of the things that I love about this way, this philosophy, this form, of thinking, because it gives you, it empowers you to make changes. Because come on, I'm not going to be able to change anybody else. I can't change anybody else. I can only be there and, show up for myself. And the more I do, the more I, look at my own triggers, the more I transform those triggers. And instead of feeling sad for myself, because again, I blew up in someone's face and whatever, it can happen. We're humans. The thing is, am I actually learning from this? Am I looking at that trigger and going like, okay, this trigger, it could be either it's because I'm that way to other people, or it's because I am with myself. And then I have something to do, right? Then I have, that I can use different kinds of tools to work on them. Right now, I am actually working on a tool that will help you, what to do with the triggers that you find for yourself. I'm not ready yet to get, to come out with that one, but let me know. Come join my Cyber Coven. You'll find everything, somewhere in this letter or below the video. So if you want to come join the Cyber Coven, and you'll get to know, probably, I'm working on it to be done by June, hopefully. Let's cross the fingers that I can get it done by then. A very huge toolbox that is going to help you what to do with these kinds of triggers so that they don't appear anymore. Oh, all right, with that said, my beautiful soul, let me know, please let me know in the comments what of this today, what I talked about today, maybe if there was something that made you go, wow, May, that is so true. Or maybe you went like, May, no, I don't feel it. Let me know. I would love to really Put it in the comments, and I hope I'll see you next week when we go into wave number 13. Ooh, my favorite number. See you there, my beautiful soul, and have a magical week. And like I always say, please be graceful with yourself.